This is an excerpt from our movie and entertainment podcast, Couch Potato Saga in the Morning. You can find us through the links in the description. Let's talk about The Ridiculous Six.
Oh.
We talked about a lot of Netflix stuff on this, haven't we?
Yeah, we really have. All right.
We should get away from that. Like I said, this is Adam Sandler signed a deal with Netflix to sort of have them exclusively, maybe not exclusively, but he's going to make movies for them. And so this has been the start of that. So in The Ridiculous Six, Adam Sandler plays White Knife, an orphan raised by Native Americans who's, I don't know, what is he? He's the fastest knife in the West, I guess.
I don't know.
He's good at fighting shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, his former outlaw dad, Nick Nolte, who's apparently in this movie, shows up one day to be Nick Nolte and say he's dying and wants to give him his remaining fortune. Only Danny Trejo shows up and takes him away.
The fucking cast in this movie.
Yeah. This is actually really fucking convoluted. So basically, long story short, in order to save his dad from Danny Trejo, Adam Sandler goes and starts stealing from the rich to give to his dad. And along the way, he sort of encounters that his dad maybe had some other children who all join him in the hunt for money.
Can I talk about the children? I want to just tell who the children are.
Okay. So, yeah, let's go over all the children here.
Okay, so we have Rob Schneider,
who is playing a Mexican stereotype.
Yes. Who else do we have? We have Taylor Lautner, who's doing
Taylor Lautner playing the Rob Schneider role, essentially.
Yes. Who else is in? Jorge Garcia, Hurley from Lost.
Yeah.
Playing, I don't know what the fuck that stereotype even is supposed to be.
He's like a hill person who doesn't even know how to speak.
Yes. Luke Williams.
Luke Wilson.
Wilson, that dude from Idiocracy, who is
Owen Wilson's brother. That's what he's known as.
Yeah. I literally just know him as that dude from Idiocracy. I was like,
I just know him as Owen Wilson's brother. So,
and his character is weirdly normal.
Actually, okay, we're gonna do spoilers for this because who the fuck cares?
And then lastly, Terry Crews.
Terry Crews, who's Terry Crews.
Yes.
So my understanding of Adam Sandler's career has essentially been the movie Funny People. He seems like he just is the most joyless dude cranking out these crappy comedies, and I don't know. It's The Ridiculous Six doesn't really buck that trend, though I think it's maybe better than some of his previous output because it seems like it actually attempts to be a movie.
Yeah, I will give it that.
It has actual production values, and it's not. They didn't hire somebody to set up a tripod at the water park for like they did for grown-ups. So
yeah, I did notice this looks more expensive. It still falls into Adam Sandler humor territory.
The movie doesn't look great. You can still tell it looks very much like a set at times, but there were some times where I was like, hey, that's actually some nice lighting. Yeah.
I was like, oh, it doesn't look super awful.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've also heard that's kind of usually what Adam Sandler movies look like. I remember watching Grown Ups 2 and being like, oh, this movie looks decent.
I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint just specifically what's wrong with Adam Sandler movies other than...
Oh, I can pinpoint them.
Well, there's so many things that it's hard to just narrow it down to one.
Let's talk about the performances in this movie real quick.
Okay.
Sandler looks fucking bored this entire movie.
He's supposed to be playing the stoic Western hero, and his Western hero voice is not that bad, but he has some dead eyes going on in this whole thing, dude. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's like Sandler looks like he just wants to be somewhere else.
He looks like he just wants to go back into his trailer and sleep.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it looks like. Dude's sleeping. Rob Schneider.
Schneider he's playing a Mexican stereotype who goes around with a donkey. So
that has explosive diarrhea. That's the joke. The donkey has diarrhea.
Also, the donkey gives a blowjob to Taylor Lautner's character at one point because...
Who is the mentally challenged character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his character is vaguely mean-spirited and...
That's kind of... Because, you have the Indians in this movie, which... you could make an argument they were satire, and even Rob Schneider's Mexican stereotype doesn't feel like it feels really blatantly like a Mexican stereotype.
But it doesn't apart from like kind of being Speedy Gonzalez with a donkey. They don't play it up that much, actually.
Yeah, but Taylor Lautner's character is just like, you see, I'm not one for just being like, oh, it's offensive and all that shit, but it's just, Taylor Lautner's character just comes off as really mean-spirited.
And I think this is also the most energetic performance I've ever seen from him,
Yeah, same. I
which
was
is
like, this
weird.
dude looks really happy to be here.
He seems really dedicated to this role, which is really bizarre.
Yeah. Who else?
Luke Wilson was just hanging out.
Yeah, dude is. Yeah, Luke Wilson was odd.
Then they have Terry Crews, who
Can play piano with his dick.
is
That's also
here to shout, which is kind of funny sometimes. And then they had Hurley, who again seemed, I don't know, it felt like that's kind of the issue with Sandler movies, is that sometimes they feel mean, where they're just laughing at these kind of unfortunate people.
Yeah,
And I know they've been made up to be comically unfortunate, but it just doesn't work because, I don't know, it feels mean, and it's not terribly humorous either.
yeah. It just feels like you're being it's like you're being a jackass.
Yeah, and they also had Vanilla Ice in this movie as Mark Twain.
Yes, David Spade as General Custer.
I actually did not hate either of those characters, just because Vanilla Ice as Mark Twain was actually Vanilla Ice playing Mark Twain.
Oh yeah, no,
So he just said shit like, boom, I just dropped some satire on your ass. And
yeah, and then what's his name?
Custer was just constantly foreshadowing his death. And
Yeah,
there were parts of this movie that are okay.
yeah, no.
But Harvey Keitel was in this movie for some reason.
I think he lost a bet.
Oh boy.
That's the only thing I can think of. Steve Buscemi, who I'm convinced, whatever. I'm convinced Sandler has dirt on him because he's always in the fucking movies.
And he's shown up in a lot of these.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm convinced Sandler is like, oh, I wouldn't want these pictures being like, tell man. So we had a brief Reservoir Dogs reunion.
Dude, oh god, yeah, we did.
Mr. Pink and Mr. White missing fucking Tim Roth, man.
I hope Tim Roth never shows up in an Adam Sandler movie. But yeah, like they had Nick Nolte being Nick Nolte. They had John Turturro, who was weirdly dedicated to his role as the creator of baseball.
Okay, we need to talk about this part of the movie because this was weirdly good.
Okay, so the movie, well, we'll get to that in a bit. In general, the movie is very scattered, and essentially the characters all go around looking for clues about their dad, and so they kind of stumble from exposition scene to exposition scene into exposition scene, and all of them are really fucking long.
Yeah. Also, scenes like Sandler movies have a really bad habit of having scenes that don't really feel like they're in the movie. They just kind of wanted that scene there, so now it's there.
And that's kind of the main issue with this movie, is that every scene just goes on so long, and it feels like they didn't edit anything. It feels like nobody came in and said, we need to cut this so that the jokes still work. And
yeah, it feels like they're like, all right, it's good, put it out there.
It feels like they just let the camera roll, and then they put that in there. They have this really long charades scene with Hurley, and it just keeps going on, and this movie's 2 hours long.
There's the scene where the accidental decapitation scene.
Yeah.
That was initially, I was like, all right, that's decent. And then it just kept going.
Yeah, and even the baseball scene's pretty long, but like, I don't know.
We'll discuss the baseball scene.
But yeah, just like this movie's fucking 2 hours long, dude. And yeah. I just don't understand why.
No, yeah, same. I saw the runtime. I was like, oh, fuck. It also takes a bit to get going. There's about 20 minutes where there is just not a joke, or maybe there is a joke and I just don't understand Sandler humor.
I have a gang called the Left Eye Boys, and I thought that was kind of funny. Because their gimmick is that they all dug out their left eye and put an eye patch over it so they could all be part of the same gang.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of stupidity I can kind of get on board with.
Yeah.
But the beginning, it's hard to discern what the joke is in the beginning. And like, that's kind of what struck me when I was watching the trailer for this movie, was that I couldn't pick out what was meant to be funny. Yeah.
And then it's just like, it just feels like it's very immature humor.
Like, immature humor can be funny, but like,
it's to a point where just stuff happens. And I'm like, was that the joke?
Yeah.
The joke was the donkey poops.
But yeah, the baseball scene is probably the highlight of this movie.
It feels like a skit, first off.
Yeah, it has no place in this movie. It goes
at
on too
all.
long, but
I
it's
would be damned if that wasn't a decent bit of comedy.
yeah.
So let's explain that scene real quick.
Do you want to do
So
it?
yeah, so pretty much they stumble upon this dude who is teaching some people how to play baseball, and he tells them he's going to tell them like how to find this place they're looking for if he plays a game of baseball with them. So baseball at this point hasn't been invented yet. This is pretty much a dude that invents baseball. Apparently, I don't know if that really is, but
Yeah, it was
oh, it was okay.
yeah.
So it's this dude
Played
just
by John Turturro, who, like I said, he cares about this performance
he
in a
does.
weird way.
But the purpose of the scene is this dude is just making up the fucking rules of modern baseball as this scene is happening.
Yeah, like he gets hit by the ball and he's like, "Oh, I get to go to first base now." And
Yeah, there's like he's like you have to get past the base 2 times, and
yeah,
there's shit like they're trying to. He's like, okay, we're gonna have 2 teams of 10, but there's only 18 of us here. 2 teams of 9.
yeah, and then like when he misses because it's too low, he's like, "No, that's too low. It's not in the strike zone."
Yeah, and it's he starts calling some dude shortstop, and he's like, that's your name from now on.
And he just like steals the base, blatantly cheating, and he's
Yeah.
like, "No, you can do that." And that's how the rules of baseball come to exist. And
Yeah, and they hit a home run, and he's like, I don't want to go get that. You just get
Yeah.
you get the point.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. It was just the whole scene was just it was. I feel like that scene would fall flat on someone that does not understand the rules of baseball. And I was just
Yeah.
like, wow, this is weirdly funny. I was like,
yeah, and because like the rules of baseball, when you actually say them out loud, some of them seem really
it's just
stupid
really
and
absurd. And it
arbitrary.
was just kind of funny just to see them kind of like lay it out, like how the hell these rules got invented.
Yeah,
It just seems really absurd.
and though I mean, again, like while it is funny, they kind of lean on that joke for like 5-8 minutes or so,
Yeah,
and it loses its luster after a bit just because of how often they do it.
I honestly think this could have been an SNL skit just out of context, and this would have been a pretty decent skit.
Yeah, there were not many parts of this movie that I thought were funny, but
This
that
was like
one of
the
them.
one.
So was like Terry Crews admitting to them that he was black and never having done that before to anybody and acting
Yeah.
like it was some big surprise.
This movie had more moments in it that I thought were funny than most Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah. And that might just be because when it's 2 fucking hours, obviously you're going to
They're
have
gonna
some hits.
stumble on something, yeah.
I fucking hope.
Yeah. But okay, so now I feel like we're almost being too positive on this movie now because
Yeah.
this movie sucked.
But like again, it's 2 hours, and whilst they do have some hits here and there, it is so spread out over that 2 hour runtime that doesn't at all need to be as long as it is. And good God, man, I haven't seen an Adam Sandler movie in a while, and this just kind of reminded me why I don't appreciate his modern run of movies. I don't even like Billy Madison that much because
Oh yeah, if you go back and watch those, they are not as good as
Happy Gilmore might be okay just because he's not doing a voice. And
Yeah.
Adam Sandler is not an actor who does voices. And yet most of his career is built around him doing voices.
yeah, and I don't know why either.
The ending
Also-
twist of this movie was okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, what
it
were you
was-
going to say?
No product placement in this movie, which is very unusual for modern Adam Sandler movies. I'm assuming it's because Netflix.
It was a period piece.
Dude, it's Adam
Adam Sandler would not compromise his integrity as an artist to put a can of Mountain Dew in the desert
They totally
in
would
the
be.
Wild West. In their one Wild West set that they put a filter on in another scene to make it look different. I just feel like we're not selling just how much of a slog this movie feels. When,
Yeah, very, very, very long stretches of just stupidity and boringness.
And you don't even have like the benefit of a scenery change most of the time because, like I said, they're going on these scenes for so long.
It's scene and then sleeping scene and then scene.
All the campfire scenes are like 20 minutes if you add them up, I think.
Yeah,
Holy fucking shit, do they spend a lot of time around the campfire?
yeah, and those it gets old, and I'm like every time they're at a campfire, I'm just like, oh great, this again. You got to hear him talk.
Luke Wilson's whole Abraham Lincoln thing was funny.
Yeah, that was all right.
It's an Adam Sandler movie. You probably know if you appreciate his type of humor.
We don't.
We don't. It has moments here and there that maybe you will find on YouTube in the future.
Yeah, I would recommend just waiting for this movie to be on YouTube. I mean, it's on Netflix, so I guess you can go look around on it. It's not like you're paying anything for it, if you already have a Netflix subscription.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the being mean spirited. It's the pointless, gross out shock humor. It's the really long scenes. It's the inability to like have any pacing whatsoever that the movie just feels like a chore.
Or my personal least favorite Adam Sandler thing, pretending the movie has heart.
Oh God, they do. They have.
That happens in every fucking Sandler movie, and I'm like, stop.
They have the random dramatic scenes. I didn't know if he stopped doing that or not.
No, they've been happening. Grown-ups had them. Jack and Jill has
Grown ups
had
had
them.
him.
Yeah, no joke.
Wait, Jack and Jill had him.
Yeah, they have like this whole like twin thing about Jack and Jill where they're trying to. It's like fuck you.
Oh God.
Yeah.
This one, it makes a little more sense if they're trying to tell a real ass story.
It makes
kind of not.
I still don't like it at all. It makes more sense than usual, but it still falls in its face.
Yeah, like Adam Sandler learns that Danny Trejo killed his mother, and so they try to mine that for some drama.
It doesn't work.
And then Nick Nolte eventually betrays him, which was an all right twist, if I'm being honest, but it also extended the movie.
Yeah, it did. I kind of figured it was going to happen too, because like it was like 20 minutes left in the movie, and like everything was wrapped up, and I'm like, oh, he's going to betray him.
Yeah, this movie kind of got some press for like some Native Americans actually walked off the set because they found it very offensive.
Yeah,
and I think they actually toned that down a bit from what I read that they did.
Yeah, it didn't. It honestly didn't feel like most of the kind of punch down of mean-spirited humor was directed at the Native Americans in this movie.
They did sort of make fun of their names, but that was about what it amounted to. I could see why that would be offensive.
Yeah, Never Wears a Bra was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't say they were portrayed respectfully because they were still kind of caricatures, but
it was definitely, it felt.
They were not Taylor Lautner's character.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, fuck, that character.
So what would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 5 potatoes, Tim?
You know, I'm going to give it a 1.
I guess our lowest rating is probably like a 0.5 or something, right?
Yeah, I would assume.
I don't want to give it the lowest rating because I think there are not only worse Adam Sandler movies, but there are sort of moments here throughout that I found.
You know, let's say 1 is our worst rating, and we'll just give it a 1.5.
I don't want to give it a 1.5.
Yeah, I don't want to either. Okay, fine.
Let's give it a 1.
Yeah, let's give it 1.
If we ever review something even worse, we can figure it out then. But this is a 1 out of 5.
Yeah, this is a 1 out of 5. So like, yeah, there's moments in this that are fine, but it's also 2 hours long. The thing's a slog, and it still is the Adam Sandler humor.
I don't know. I think the moments that are fine stand out more, just because because they're surrounded by essentially the same really tired and shitty jokes that he keeps doing.
Yeah, so whenever you get one of those moments that isn't awful, it's just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
A joke.
Yeah, and then they just like milk it until it's like unrecognizable anymore.
Yeah.
Like that whole fucking Mark Twain Custer scene goes on forever.
It really does.
I don't recommend it. Unless you're really into this stuff.
Watch the baseball scene on YouTube at some point.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's pointless.
The baseball scene would make a pretty good SNL skit, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It feels like a skit, and as a skit, it's pretty decent. Like you don't even need like the Adam Sandler cast in there.